All right, so guys, what I want you to be looking at on your screen are your paragraphs. Understanding that I don't need to have both of those paragraphs completed until Thursday, there are a couple of revision things that I want to bring up with you because there's some fixes you can kind of make in the creation of the rest of your paragraph just to kind of set you on a better path. Okay, so I want to show you exactly how it is I will be grading these first two sections of the rubric. The first section of the rubric is all about topic sentences and those clincher sentences, the last sentence of the paragraph. Okay, so when we're looking for proficiency, we are, depending on the merit of your sentence, the sophistication of your sentence, you would be landing in A or B range over here, okay? C down to F range down here, okay? So, what I want you to think about, first off, even if you only have one, if you haven't quite moved on to your solution, well, no, everybody should have probably two topic sentences by now. One for your problem and one for your solution paragraph. So, looking at those really quickly, it's proficient if your topic sentence answers the guiding question. In this case, our guiding question is, well, what is the problem with implicit bias? Or for your solution paragraph, what is the solution for the solutions for implicit bias? All right. Now, in thinking about this, I really need to stress that everything under that topic sentence has to kind of nest neatly underneath that idea. So, have you given a topic sentence that's broad enough to encompass conceptually all of the details then you work into that paragraph? Is it broad enough so that everything kind of fits? All right. Here's my word to the wise here. Avoid using the word because in a topic sentence like this. All right, here's why. This is an example of a topic sentence that's awfully specific. Okay? Implicit bias is a problem because schools should support kids. It's a well-written sentence. It's an important idea. But if you are introducing all of the problems or like the major problems associated with implicit bias, you limit yourself if you use a topic sentence like this because now you only get to talk about implicit bias in schools. All right? If we were doing a much longer paper, which we absolutely could, about implicit bias, this would be a perfectly legit topic sentence for one of our paragraphs. But I'm only asking for one problem that kind of encompasses broadly, 6 to no more than really 10 sentences that depict the problem as it is, and the same for the solution. So you don't want to be too specific here. All right. On the flip side of this, does your paragraph end with some finality? If you're pushing into or hoping to push into the mastery or advanced realm, okay, your clincher sentence of your problem paragraph could maybe provide a transition into what's to come in your solution. See if you can work that in. Any questions about topic sentences and wrap-ups? Something to think about as you work. Now, the next topic that I want to really focus on is language use. So I'll give you a second to kind of look and see what's all encompassed when we talk about language use in a paragraph like this. So, when we talk about language kind of broadly, my expectation is that we are remaining in the third person. I don't want to see first person or second person work its way into this objective, unbiased explanation of the research that you did. Okay? So right now, I want you to scan your paragraphs, or at least the parts of the paragraphs that are written just now. I want you to remove any mention of yourself. I, me, our, us, okay? By including yourself in the topic, you lack that objectivity. Now, we know implicit bias affects everyone, but we don't want it to, by including myself in my own paragraph, for anybody to question the credibility that I have or the authority that I have after sampling these texts to be able to write about it. Okay? On the flip side of it, I do not want you to reference the reader specifically. This is what we call second person. So don't talk to you, audience member reading this paragraph. Okay? You want to remove that. So for instance, our biases. In a casual piece or in a different kind of style, would be totally fine. But instead of our biases, what if we use people's biases or Americans' biases or school children or teachers, like so that you separate yourself from the group that you're talking about. Okay? Do a quick scan to remove any of that first or second person that you find. So just to clarify, then I'm asking you to do something with your paragraphs. You should be looking at your screen. You should be certainly having your Chromebook open so you can get this accomplished. All right. Did you find some? A couple of references to I or me or we or our? Okay. We'll just fix them. Do we understand kind of how to fix them? And really the why to fix them? We'll get into a little bit further here in just a second, but it challenges your academic voice. It challenges your authority. It makes you feel more readerly, more casual, and therefore you kind of lose your brain muscle power as like, I'm maybe less likely to believe you if you're just like me. Here I am just learning about implicit bias for the first time. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, I want you to do another quick scan here in just a second. I want you to remove any abbreviations and any contractions from your work. Okay, so for instance, you may have read the article about the Des Moines Police Department. When you abbreviate the name of an organization or maybe a company, the first time you use it, you spell it out completely. So the first time you mention the Des Moines Police Department, it's all in words. Then after that, you have the availability to shorten that up to DMPD. So that takes care of abbreviations. But I should see no contraction word in your paragraph. So I don't want to see can't, I want to see cannot. I don't want to see shouldn't, I want to see should not. Not aren't, not didn't, or doesn't. Okay, do a quick scan, spread out those contractions. Unless it's in a quote. Very good point, Jesse. We cannot change any quoted material when we use a direct quotation. When we're paraphrasing, it's a totally different story. We can adjust our word usage when we paraphrase. But if we're borrowing from the words of another person, we quote them exactly as they said. Okay, we feeling good about this? Next, and this is something you think about, like maybe you need to clean it up a little bit from what you have written already, but thinking about this specifically as you continue to write, you want to avoid casual talk. For instance, if this paragraph reads like how you would explain it in person to somebody else, it's probably too casual. You want to dress this up a little bit. All right? Also, thinking about what constitutes the not there yet, so C to F range, you want to stay in the informative style. As soon as you change into a different writing sample, for instance, a persuasive or opinion-based writing sample, you lose objectivity. You show your bias. Okay, so we want to stay really clean in the fact that these are just the bits of research of other people, and you're explaining them without bias. All right? Last but not least, I want you to open up, or excuse me, not open up. What? I want you to go through and not like highlight in another color, like formally, don't make it yellow or anything, but drag your cursor over the first bit of direct quotation you've borrowed from your notes. So the first time from your notes, you've got quotation marks around what is in exact wording from your research article. Find that, just like put your cursor over it, turn it blue. All right. You want to make sure that your evidence that you borrowed from your research is incorporated into a sentence. Here's what that means, okay? When you look at the direct quote that you have just highlighted, if the sentence starts with a quotation mark, you have created what's called in the writing world a drop quote, meaning literally like the quote is dropped into the paragraph without any context, without any work done by you, okay? We want to avoid that. Simply, we want to avoid it by creating some context that we kind of preview or introduce that quote with. We can do this so simply. But when I say drop quote, I need you to understand from now until forever what I'm talking about. Okay? This is a drop quote. This is a sentence that nests the quoted material inside the context of a larger sentence. So, for instance, studies show teachers need support in understanding family struggles. Or, according to the Des Moines Register, and then your quoted material. Or thinking about like, okay, well, where does this research come from? Maybe after conducting a study at Yale University. Okay? Whatever you add here creates context, creates more information that would help a reader better understand what's going on. Okay? This is what I want to completely eradicate. I don't want any drop quotes in your paragraphs. All right, so there's today's lesson. Now thinking about like how we're moving forward here, what you will notice on Canvas when you look at your dashboard is that second period or second trimester English 9, I've changed the icon here. Unless you're an English 9 honors student who has to turn in their link to their portfolio, there's nothing here for you, friends. All right. What you can find is 3 English 9 for trimester 3 English 9. And if it doesn't pop up automatically for you on your dashboard, you can go into your courses, all right, and click on all courses. And then as you're scrolling through here, down at the bottom of your list will show future enrollments. And 3 English 9 should be at the top of your future enrollments. You just click the star right next to it, it'll pop up. Okay? All right. So when you are looking at third trimester, because the writing of this is going to be due on Friday, well, you'll see this looks nearly identical, but under assignments, you've got your implicit bias paragraphs. And on this Canvas assignment is everything that we've talked about so far, just for you to be able to reference if you're coming up late or you missed a step. I've got the assignment copied here. I've got the step-by-step for how to write it. And I also have, for those of you who may be still writing your paragraphs, if you need to finish writing your paragraphs and then, what did she talk about with the second person? What? I've got the revision slides we just looked at. All right. So Ms. Grubbs and I will be around if you need us to look at anything, if you need us to help with anything, provide advice, etc. But there should be 2 finished paragraphs that meet all of the needs of topic sentences and wrap-ups and language use by the time you walk into class on Thursday. Okay? So the rest of the period is yours to work effectively. I think we've been doing a really great job just staying in our assigned seats. So let's keep up with that. And I think that is all. All right, call us over if you need us. Perfect. Mm-hmm.